Hello, this is Goku Footasome 1, and I'm back with a video. This time it's a request video by Comics Kid 2099. Go check out his channel. I don't know if he makes videos or not, but, well, he wanted me to do this. Basically, he wants to do my thoughts on the Superman reboot. Now, I don't know if he basically said kind of like my Batman video. Unfortunately, my recent Batman video, I didn't know anything because we haven't got any information. So I'll kind of do what I wish they would have done, and then I'll go within my general thoughts about this. So you'll get both. Okay, first of all, is I don't like who they're using as Zod. I wouldn't have used Zod. I probably wouldn't have gone with I probably would not have gone with any words and stuff at all. And I probably would have went with Brainiac. Now, before you go, oh, you're not going to have Krypton, and I wouldn't, but you're going to have Brainiac. How do those two go together? If you read the comics, Brainiac isn't actually from Krypton. That is an origin they have used in the past, and I think media have usually used it just to make it easier to swallow, but you can certainly do Brainiac without it. Brainiac is my favorite Superman villain, but that's not the reason I would use him. I think he's one of the bigger villains that ultimately would probably be the best to do. Unlike a couple other villains they could use, and Bizarro probably being the next high on my list, and then Metallo right after him, I think Brainiac would be the best of the three. You don't need Lex Luthor in this film at all to do Brainiac. You can do a really good movie where you have a really brainy villain, but also a really strong villain. Superman has to use everything to defeat this guy. He can't just use his brains, and he certainly just can't use his bronze. He has to use both. So you get to see both sides of him. Obviously, it's going to be more bronze than brains because Brainiac is so much leagues above him. But you could also bring in Lex Luthor and kind of have where Lex Luthor is manipulating Brainiac, Brainiac's manipulating Lex Luthor, and they're both trying to put them in positions, but ultimately Brainiac is thinking so much farther above Lex Luthor can think, because Brainiac, if you don't know, Brainiac actually is far vastly more intelligent than humans can possibly be. So the whole idea would be is Brainiac is thinking so many moves ahead, like on a chessboard. He's thinking 8 to 10 moves, where Lex Luthor is thinking 4 to 5. And ultimately, Lex Luthor is going to lose this this challenge of brains, this battle of brains, battle of the smarts. So, and I would really go with, first of all, I would make this a reboot. I would make it look different. I think that Superman can look realistic. I think he's better I would go more realism if I was doing it personally. I would make it look fantastical. Actually, I'd kind of make it look sci-fi. Kind of like a sci-fi film. I'd make the buildings look crisp and clean. That's personally what I would do. I know it might not be original, it might not be very interesting. I would certainly have all the major characters you would expect, and that's pretty much what I would have done. Now, what do I think about the reboot? Well, they're using Zod. I don't want them to use Zod because there's a myriad of villains you can use. Unlike most of these characters, like Batman. Batman, they were going to be using either Penguin, Riddler, or Catwoman. If you say they weren't, you don't understand how this works. They want to use a big villain. They want to use a recognizable villain. Okay, Brainiac, Bizarro, and Metallo should be recognizable. Now, obviously, yes, the audience, the general public, knows of two villains commonly, and that is Lex Luthor and Zod. But that's because they've never done these villains before. But there was a time when they had only done Joker in the Batman films. Now they've done a myriad of villains. They did a myriad of villains before they started reusing villains. Superman did 2 villains, made up 2 villains, and now is going back to do those 2 villains. Superman Returns being Superman Returns being Lex Luthor, and now they're going back and they're reusing Zod. So that's what makes me mad. Lex Luthor can be a great villain, but you have to make a film. You have to make a really intelligent film, and they didn't want to make that. So just make a fun action film, and don't have Lex Luthor be the main villain. Now, I think this film could be good. The one funny thing, and if nobody's noticed this, both of Superman's dads, both Clark Kent's dad, is actually played by a former Robin Hood actor. I find that fascinating. I don't know. Please leave in the comments below if you also find that fascinating. Yes. Kevin Costner, and I can't think of the other guy. The guy from Gladiator. He also played Robin Hood. Please leave the name below if you want to. But yeah. Oh, I'm gonna go see the movie, and it looks like it could be good. I think the acting cast is pretty good, but Superman with a beard, that kind of is a little weird. There are a couple scenes where you can see him with a beard, so I want to see what they do with that. And Lumberjack Superman, interesting, very interesting. I'm hearing rumors that they might have cast a Lex Luthor. Bradley Cooper is the rumor I've been hearing. I don't know if that's true. Please don't quote me on that, but that's interesting. Other than that, the casting's pretty good. A Black Perry White doesn't upset me. It's interesting. I can't think of the actor's name off the top of my head. I think it's Morpheus. I believe it's Morpheus. Don't quote me from Matrix. I don't know the actor's name. I don't have it right now. This is just a little quick video. But I think it's Morpheus. So that's interesting. So, yeah, so far, yeah. Also, the guy from Law and Order, Stabler, not the actor's name, but the character's name, Stabler. He's playing a military-esque character in it, and I have a theory. I'm probably wrong on this, but I have a theory. And before you go with age, okay, remember, do not look at the actress and the actor's age. The guy is about 50. So he's old enough. I think he might be. My theory is that he possibly could be the father of Lois Lane. That's my theory. Yes, the general. They could go with a younger general. I think that would be interesting. He does kind of have that general-esque look. I think he could really play that kind of character really well. I hope he's just not another Kryptonian. I would really like to see some military-esque in this. If you're going to do Zod, I'd love to see the military in here, and not in a jokey way. And if you're going to have the military, why not have a general that's connected to the Superman lore? And he is General Lane is completely connected to the mythology, so it would be awesome, I think. So, yeah. Now, if you look at the ages, the actress who's playing Lois Lane, I think, is 37, and he's 50. So if you add up the ages, there's a 13-year difference. But you also got to remember that the actress who's playing Lois Lane is actually much older than what she's going to be in the movie. I think she's going to be about 10 years younger. So that would actually make it 23, which you could quite literally be a father at 23. That's very common. So the whole age difference is not a big deal. The actor who's playing Superman is in his, I think he's like 25, if I'm correct. I don't know. He's in his mid-20s, so I think he's actually younger than me. So yeah, so those are my thoughts. Please leave a comment or a video response below. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you agree with my opinion. Tell me if you like my idea of what I would have done in the reboot. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. This is Goku Photo 1, and I will see you next time, YouTube.